Hey everybody, Lemony Vengeance here. California Extreme has come and gone, and with it hundreds of classic arcade games and pinball tables. Amongst those is a new independent game built specifically for JAMA hardware named Skycurser. I had an opportunity to talk with Christopher Cruz, art director of Skycurser. Check it out.
My name is Chris Cruz. I'm the art director for Griffin Aerotech, who is the company that's producing Skycurser, which is a brand new arcade game that's scheduled for a late 2016 release.
Okay. Why don't you tell me a little bit how Skycurser began?
Just began with a passion for arcade games. Kind of actually started just as a completely just a passion project between a couple of friends and myself. We started building a game, and we were like, well, what platform would we design the game for? And we were like, well, let's make an arcade game. And we first started building it strictly like just on a PC that was connected to an arcade machine. But then once we got further along, we were like, man, this is fun, you know, like we really enjoy this. And we were getting some early feedback from sort of the arcade industry and the arcade kind of community that, hey, you know, if you're making a new game, you should release it for the arcade. And so that's sort of how the momentum started to build. And from there, it's just been all about just trying to make the game as great as we possibly can and get it in as many locations as we can. So,
okay. Yeah. So how's the reception been so far?
Good. I mean, I'm overwhelmed with you know, the reception that we're getting. I think you know, for a player who's expecting a really traditional hardcore shoot 'em up, kind of like a cave style game, it's probably not going to be their favorite game because it's just different than that. It's got its own feel, its own vibe. But for players that are a fan of, you know, the SNK, Metal Slug series, or Splatterhouse, stuff like that from Namco, I think those type of players that are into those 90s style, you know, games, they're really, really enjoying it. And we've been putting a lot of effort in to make sure that the game is really difficult for people who are skilled, but also friendly for new players. Because one of the things we found when we put it out on the arcade floor, the original build was way harder right from the beginning, and no one was playing because they put that first quarter in, and then they get obliterated, and then it's like, oh, I'm not going to play this anymore when I can go play, you know, something else and get 3 minutes of gameplay. So it's all about kind of trying to balance that line of making it really fun for the hardcore players, but also not just destroy a new player at the same time. So.
Okay.
But the reception's been great in terms of the arcade operators are just really excited that there's a new arcade game that's out, and we have 15 locations right now in Indiana or in America, and then we have our first international locations, one in France and then one soon in Japan. That we're really excited about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
So when did work start on this again?
About 2 years ago.
Okay.
So probably holiday season 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are some of the challenges that you've had to overcome taking a game developed on a PC and moving it over to your own customized hardware platform?
Yeah, a lot. I can't speak into super great detail about all those ins and outs of the hardware because I'm the art guy, but I can tell you that when you put a game on the floor and it has to be running basically 24/7 and be kind of fail-proof so that it can earn money for the operators, you learn so much about, you know, things we never thought of. We had like memory leak issues that would cause the game to shut down every once in a while, and just all kinds of stuff, the power supplies, just everything you could think of. So it's like crazy because you're trying to focus on making a really awesome game, but then you've got this whole hardware thing that you got to figure out too, and it's like balancing those two things. We just had a hardware problem right now. We've got some power issue here today, but balancing those two things is a real challenge, really a real challenge. Yeah.
What are some of the features that are coming up in the game right now? Like what are some of the things that are on tap that haven't been in any of the builds thus far?
So I think the big one that is going to be coming very soon, it's not even in this build, is two-player.
Two-player.
So actually in the game you have a co-pilot who's a dog.
Yeah, your dog.
Yeah, your dog, and my dog in real life, right? Yeah, but he's the player's dog too, and he controls a mech. And so second player is him. He's this dog in a mech.
Yeah.
And so we're adding that. That's a big feature. Then we're also adding a lot more super moves. The game has like almost Street Fighter style super moves.
Oh, nice.
So we're adding a bunch of those. We're getting into the scoring system. Right now the game has a really rudimentary scoring system. Basically just counts your kills.
Yeah.
We're going to be adding more for the scoring. We just added the Wi-Fi capability, so we can download new builds of the game on all of our locations at once.
Nice.
And then also we're going to have international scoreboards, so that'll be a big one to where you can see how you play against the players in Japan or in France or wherever else they might be. But lots of features, more levels, more enemies. There's a million things we're working on.
Awesome.
But this build in particular has better weapon balance than is at any of our locations right now. The shotgun was a little overpowered before. It's got a bunch of glitch fixes. It's got some features to make it a little bit friendlier when you die. It kills some enemies around you so that you get a little bit of time to breathe.
Yeah.
Little stuff like that.
Have you thought about releasing the game through any big distributors? I know that Raw Thrills is one of the largest distributors in the United States right now. They are kind of the gorilla in the space for sure. They're the big one. I know that Killer Queen, which is another indie arcade game, just recently got a deal with them, which is awesome. We haven't pursued that yet, but we're always open for possibilities. I mean, right now we're just kind of focused on making the best game we can on the best hardware platform we can. Excellent. That's the way it should be. So I don't know if I'm supposed to know this yet. But can you tell me anything about Founding Fathers?
So there's actually 2 new games that are. This will be the first time I've ever talked about this publicly. There'll be 2 new games that are coming out on the Airframe hardware platform. One of them is Founding Force, which is a kind of a alt history beat 'em up where you actually play as the founding fathers of the United States. And I think I don't have all the details, but you fight aliens and redcoats, and it just goes all over the place.
Okay.
So it's a 3-player beat 'em up. And then the new game that no one knows about right now is a game called Beach Dogs, which is sort of a spiritual successor to Windjammers.
Yes.
So you actually control dogs instead of people, but it's the same kind of core concept where it's competitive, power disc, but there's special moves, super moves, parry system. There's all kinds of crazy, really deep gameplay things.
Nice.
So it's kind of taking on that foundation of what Windjammers did, which was incredible, and building on it, because to my knowledge, there's never been another true arcade successor to Windjammers. So we thought, we worked on a game like that, so we've got another team that's working on that right now too. So,
excellent.
Really excited about that one.
Excellent. Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For the interview. I really appreciate it. And look forward to more releases for Skycurser.
Thank you.
All right.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.